friends, it is I, James Kalm, your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike. Now we're on Lisbonard Street, and we're going to run in here to Freight+Volume and see an exhibition by Cordy Ryman, Mind Symphony. Stay tuned. Well, I came in for the opening. It was packed. So loud that I didn't want to record then, but I decided I would come back and take a look in the empty gallery and linger a little bit and make some comments. And we'll start out with this one behind the desk. It's titled Penelope. Acrylic and ink on wood. This is 24 inches square. While I was here yakking with people at the opening, I had a couple of people that came in and they said they thought this was one of the better pieces in the show. And I agreed. I kind of like this. We've got one wedge going the wrong way. So we've been looking at Cordy's work for probably 10 or 12 years. I think the first one of his shows that I saw was maybe at Zercher Studio up on Bleecker Street. This is titled Spiral Groove Ride 2023. This is 40 by 40. I think one of the things that I enjoy about Cordy's work is a very kind of basic playfulness using one of my favorite things, power tools. You know, I love to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and check out the tool aisle and look at the latest groovy implements they've got here. So I love the way that Cordy's got in here and kind of like spontaneously routed in his spiral, and actually got some nice color things happening. Let's see if we can squeeze this into the frame. This is called Accent Cloud Constellation 2023, acrylic on wood. Okay, Cordy's been working on a series of constellations. I believe that we caught a show of his up at Freight+Volume's old space on Allen Street, and it was all constellations. One of the things I like about this is that it really gives Cordy a chance to play. You know, we've got some things that are, oh gosh, that could be more than 3 inches on a side. That's even smaller. So like pieces that are left over at your woodworking shop and you pick them up and repurpose them. Although some of them are very, very rich. Now, as I understand it too, I think that, I could be wrong. I think that maybe he tries to keep these together as a constellation, and whether or not you would have these laid out in the same format, or whether you would just put all these pieces in a box and then every time you would install it, you could have a different format. Okay, so he is calling this a piece 96 by 144, so we're talking about 8 by 12 feet. And another large piece. It's titled Automatic 130. This is 2023. 96 by 144. Well, I was talking to Cordy at the opening, and I asked him, I said, so is this considered a piece, or are these many pieces? And I think with this particular piece, he said this could be, gosh, I don't know what, it's got 100 pieces in there, 120, something like that. It could be individual pieces. So he said they could be taken out and spread into the wind. And as I was saying, it gives Cordy a chance to kind of play with various things. One of his devices is this brilliant and sometimes fluorescent paint on the edges of forms. And what you end up doing is you get a kind of a colored shadow. I believe all of these are a foot square. Basically, you've got a bunch of little paintings. It should actually be fun to kind of make a stack of paintings and try never to repeat yourself. Keep coming up with new ideas, new technical things. Oh, he's got some very nice painterly chops. He can also be very austere when he wants to. So I believe this would be a selection of individual pieces. I'm not going to give you the title because we probably got about 15 of these, but we'll take a look. Well, I think Cordy comes from a long line of influential minimalist artists, and well, when you see a group of work like this, you can almost pick out some of the influences. Oh, there's a good example of one of the neon shadows. I think it was Donald Judd said something in one of his 1964 essays, and maybe it was Specific Objects, something like that, that at that time in New York there was a type of art that was floating somewhere between sculpture and painting. And I think this would be a great example. Cordy's kind of a, can I say, funny guy, clever guy, whimsical guy. So he's working with a minimalist box, like a Don Judd box mounted on the wall, but then he turns it into a painting, and you got all of this stuff on the edges, in the back, the reflections. It kind of makes you think about what you expect when someone tells you they're making a painting. Okay, so that's nice. I also like the way that he takes the basic wood grain in a lot of these and plays with that as a kind of a beginning motif for his compositions. Target spiral moon. Well, I was talking about the way that when you work like this, you get a whole bunch of opportunities to play with various ideas and see how many versions, extrapolations, translations of it you can come up with. So these are all dealing with circles or spirals. And as I said, you can't forget about the edges. I think he said that this one could be broken up too, and you could have individual pieces. I guess you could probably get a couple, or you could get 4. You could make a little square, or mix and match. This is a nice little piece. Okay. And that's probably about 5 by 5 by 3.5, something like that. Somehow I'm looking at this and thinking of Emery Blagden, a great outsider artist from, I believe it was Nebraska. And we're gonna finish up looking at this piece. Vine Chop 11. And again, so we've kind of got a basic format, which is this diagonal line. Well, I was talking about how I appreciate Cordy's kind of amateurish use of the power tools and the woodworking things, and I look at a lot of this and I think back to my days as a Cub Scout, and we would have these projects that we would be building birdhouses or something, and you would have a couple of little planks and you would nail them together and hang it on a tree. And there was something nice about the kind of the innocent spontaneity. And this kind of work echoes that, kind of having fun in woodworking. Anyway, so this has been Cordy Ryman, Monkey Mind Symphony here at Freight+Volume. Okay, we're gonna roll on. Yeah, viewers, we're on Bond Street. We're going to run into Palo Gallery and check out a show. Stay tuned. Okay, well, friends, we're going to do a little run-through of an exhibition by David Smalling titled Wood and Water. Well, I was introduced to David through my son. They met at Yale, and I think David was a mathematician, but at some point he decided he wanted to be a painter, which is nice. This piece is titled Snapper 2023, oil and canvas, 9 by 12 inches. And I have visited David's studio in Red Hook and yacked with him a little bit. He's also got a pretty sophisticated idea, as you can imagine a mathematician could have, about color and color theory and all those things. This is titled Fort Haldane 2023, oil and canvas, 34 by 54. So in our little chats, we sort of talked about his inspirations, the people he likes, who he doesn't like. This is a special mining lease, 173. This is 2023, 15 by 15. Well, I think David also studied art up at Yale. And I'm going to try to get over to another gallery and look at a show that was curated by Robert Storr, who was the head of the Yale art department probably long before David was there. This is titled Kenesha 2023, oil on canvas, 54 by 30 inches. And one of the things I'm noticing that I think is a new thing that David's doing is these kind of surreal fish things, like kind of the fish turning into hats or other kinds of things. Cadan, this is 22 by 28. I was impressed with David's chops, his painting chops, his rendering when I went and saw it. And in the press release, they talk about him being influenced a lot by some of the Rococo masters. Yes, we got the Rococo and Northern Mannerism. I was just up at the Frick last week and looking at a Barclay Hendricks show, and I wasn't allowed to do any video there, but I did walk around, and they've got a fantastic collection of Major Fragonard paintings there, maybe one of the masters of the Rococo, and some Bouchers. Requiem 2023, 36 by 24, and we've got a pretty extravagant frame on there. I was just speaking with the gallerist, Paul, and he told me that David got on a painting jag and basically finished this body of work in about 4 or 5 months. And he talks about a lot of this was based on some of his ideas. He grew up in Jamaica, and so a lot of this is kind of dealing with the Jamaican landscape, Jamaican folk heroes, legends. But I'm also kind of thinking that some of this looks like the Manhattan waterfront scene from Brooklyn, maybe. Shelley Ann, this is 2023, 20 by 24. And again, we've got the strange hats. You know, it also makes me think of one of the Van Eyck paintings of the marriage scene with the guy that's got the big hat on. It's a little different. This is Dupe Conqueror. This is 38 by 30. our text in there. I think also the other thing I hope David doesn't mind me mentioning is that he's a big fan of John Curran, and well, that whole kind of 1990s return to the figure painting. Lisa Yuskevich could be part of that. Maybe David Humphrey. This is Nadinola Miss Jamaca 2023. And again, we've got the strange hat that kind of, the headscarf that covers two heads, but also this kind of varying the brushwork there is very interesting. This is Annie Palmer, the White Witch of Rose Hall. Okay, that's kind of disturbing. We've got a little smiling face there. I'm also laughing. We've got our little lobster up there. There was a big story about, I think it was Red Lobster. They had to change their policy because they had the bottomless shrimp bowl. And so many people were going in there and just eating for hours and hours that they were going broke. Study for Rapunzel 2023. This is 15 by 15. So this is kind of a little trompe-l'oeil effect. We've got a painted frame on there, and Rapunzel is kind of coming through the frame. There's another aspect of this. The frame almost looks like it's been burnt on part of that. And David is very good with his eyes and the reflections there. Okay, these are all keyed to kind of a blue background, many of them. Shauna 2023, 24 by 20. So I'm really excited. This is David's first show. That's a big thing. Okay, I kind of like the way that he's built up the ground there and left a little bit of the pedimenti come through. Cloud 9. And there's a great old R&B song about Cloud 9. Childhood part of my life wasn't very pretty. I was raised in a ghetto inside the city. One-room shack with other children sleeping beside me. Blah, 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 blah. Needed something to soothe my mind, so I'm on Cloud 9. Okay, so this is Nanny of the Maroons, 2023. And this one you get a little bit more ambitious with his kind of strange floating crockery and the fish. And this one, we're going to wrap up. This is Shanice, something like that. Okay, we got an oval. It's 20 by 16. I think David does capture the character of his models pretty well. Very classical. Okay, so congratulations, David Smalling. First one-man show here in Manhattan at the Palo Gallery. Thank you. Thank you.